guys, welcome to javaisawesome, and as of now we have seen the hierarchy of collections, and also we have covered the so many things like how we can go with the list, queue or set. Okay, so those things we have already discussed, and we have understand what is the say list, set and map also, and what is the differences between collections and list, what are the list interface implemented class you can see here. Okay, array list, linked list, vector and stack. Same thing, if you go to the here the types of the interface, so that thing is not a types, we can say types of the implemented class, a number of implemented class also, and someone can say like also like type of the list interface. So you can consider like a array list, linked list, vector, okay, and a stack. These are the four types you can say, and you can say the implemented classes also. But generally as a technical term, if you say, you have to say like a list having a four implemented classes, which is array list, linked list, vector and a stack. Okay, so if I talk about the in Java, the list is a interface. So whatever the list you have seen, those are the interface, is one of the key interface in the collection framework. It's defined a ordered collection. Ordered collections means if you store first one, second two, third three, then in the same sequence it will store. But if you go with the set, it will not store in the same sequence. Maybe it will store in the unordered. Okay, so that is the differences between the set and list. Element that contains a duplicate value, and in the list interface you can store duplicate value also, that is possible. There are the several subclasses of the list in the Java. So there are several means bahut sare classes. Subclasses means whatever the subclasses means implemented classes, those are available in Java, some of which include like a array list. What is the array list, what is the linked list, what is the vector, and what is the differences between them, that is also very important. So if I talk about the array list, so array list is a resizable array implementations. So this is we have like array, but it's a resizable. Resizable means growable in the nature, it will increment the size internally, you don't want to do anything. Okay, that is called resizable array implementations of the list interface. It allow for the fast random access. It's allow the fast random access means you can access the data from this array list with the index number which is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's why it's saying it's allowed to access the data in the fast random access, and you can fetch data from the one or last or middle, anywhere you can take the data directly through the index number also. Okay, and has a dynamic size. Dynamic size means if you go with the array, it's a fixed size. If you create an array of the 5, it will store only 5 element. But if you go with the array list, it will store more than that. How much value you want, you can store it. Okay, or shrink as a needed, and you can increment it also. Let's go and do the practicals and try to understand what exactly collections and how it's working. Okay, so let me create one more project called collections. Okay, so I will give the name called collections, and I will create it. Okay, so if you see here, collection is created. Now let me remove this one, not required. And here I will click on that, and I will create tap the shortcut key, which is the control, and here I will search class, and I will write the package is called com.basic, and class name I will give collection test. Okay, let me start with the basics only. So this is the one class I have created. Let me create one main methods. Inside the main methods I will try to cover the collections. So let me write a collections. So this is this collections. So we have two things, like if you see here carefully, so this is a something like collections java.utilities availables. So that is the utility class, that is the interface, and one more collections class we have. Okay, so I will give the differences. Okay, so this is called collections. Okay, and collections, and one more class we have which is collections. So one is S and one is what? Not S, without S. Let me remove collections. Oh yeah, this one. So this one is a class, this one is a class, and this one is a interface. So we have seen some hierarchy of the collections, so those are this one only, which is interface only, and this is the utility class. This class is provided some more extra method to do the operations on that. Okay, if I go back and if I show you, you can see here this is the collections, and this is nothing but it's a interface. So as of now we know we can't create a object for the interface. So here you can see S and here you can see without S. So if the collections, you can pronounce it collections, it means classes, and collection, it means interfaces. So many peoples are the confused. Okay, so this is the interface and this is the classes. So through the interface we are not using the so many interfaces. Okay, we are only using the classes. So that is, this one is very popular and it provide the inbuilt method and we can use it, and both are available in the same package, java.util.collections. Okay, sorry, let me open these collections classes. Okay, so if I open these collection classes, so this is the public class collections, and this one having a one default constructors, and then after binary threshold, reverse threshold, so many final variables are there. Apart from this, comparable, yeah, so many methods are there. Sort, index, binary search, comparables. Okay, so if you want to see, you can press Ctrl O, all those methods you can see here, and you can do the work on that. You can do the sweep also. Okay, so this is the collection classes. If you talk about the collections, which is collection, okay, let me open the collection, which is interface. So if I open this interface, you can see this is the interface and extended by the iterable. Okay, this is the parent class, parent interface, and in this collections having a one method declare, which is a abstract method. Its size is empty, contains, iterator, to array. Okay, and if you go, there are so many methods. So why I'm showing all those things, so that you can remember and it and you can understood, okay, this is the things. Okay, so let me remove. So you understood these things. Okay, iterable also we have already seen iterables. So I have given control shift R, control shift T I have to give, and iterable iterable, iterable. So this is also interface, iterable, iterator. So one iterator is a interface and one iterator is a class also, it's available. So but our in the collection it will come iterable, which is java.lang, it's available. This is also interface and it's a parent of all those collections, parent of all those interface in the collections, iterables, having some iterator, methods, for each, and a splitters. So these are the things you have to aware about, like what is the hierarchy for that and how we are editing. Let me remove the unimport code, unused code we can say. Okay, now we can start then after we have talked about the iterable, then after we have talked about the then after collections we have interface. So both are the iterable and collection both are the interface. Then after collection having a three interfaces, which is list, set, and queue. So let's talk about the list. So if I talk about the list, so this is the list is a interface, and if I open this list, okay, open the documentation and try to read, open documentation and try to read, so that you can become a good developer and you can understood how code are written inside this. Okay, so this is the list. So what I am doing is I am creating a one object of ArrayList. So inside the list having a implemented class, which is ArrayList, vector, linked list, and a stack. So I am going to create one object of ArrayList. So I will write ArrayList, ARRAY list, and this is the available in the java.util package. So write array.list, and this is the generic. So as of now I am not writing any generic. So this is the ArrayList, a equal to new ArrayList. Okay, and I will create an object for that. Okay, you can remove this one also, no need, generic. Okay, and we have created the object for the ArrayList. If you mouse over on that, you can see something like recommendation, add a argument type. So right now if I talk about this ArrayList, okay, this is the object normally we have created, and this is nothing but it's a class, and we have created the object for that. Now I want to add some, and also one more thing is I have not given any size for that. Okay, if I create array, that time definitely we have to give the size, and that much memory only it will occupy, and it will store that much only data. For example, if I give 3, it will store 3 only, it will not store more than that. But in the ArrayList you can store how much it's possible, so you can store noise. Okay, so let me remove this one, and now I'm going to store some data inside this ArrayList. So while storing a data inside the ArrayList, we have a method, but in the array there is no methods. You have to point out the index, like array of 0, 1, 2, and you have to store the data in that particular index number, index positions. But in the ArrayList, if I talk about the collection having our own methods. Okay, we can discuss the methods. So we can call those methods and we can store the data inside this. Okay, so let me store some data. So for example, if I write a dot, so we can see like so many methods are coming, like add object, add index with object, add collections, add all collections, add all index with collections. So these are the four method add with overloaded methods are available in the array list. So let me take someone. So these are the four overloaded methods, that is called overloading. So whenever interviewer asks you, hey, can you please give me some real-time example of overloading, so you can give this example. Like if I talk about the collections, and collections having a if I create an object for the array list, and you can see like for that array list having a four method to store the data inside the collections. Okay, so if you see here having a two method with the same name, add, having a different parameter, that is called a overloading. In the same class it's possible. So same thing you can give the example of print. Print is a one method which is taking the different type of the parameter, but method name is same. Okay, so that is called a method overloading, and those methods are the overloaded, you can say. Okay, so I hope you understood. Let me go and add some data. So add dot add, so I will take this method, and I'm thinking to add here 10. So once I add the 10 here, I will add one more data, a dot add. So we have a method to add the data inside this array. So I have added the 20. I will add one more data, so I will add it 30. So like that you can store as much of data you want to store inside the array list. Okay, so this is the inserting the data inside the array list. This is the code for that. Okay, create array list, and through the reference of that array list you can store the data inside it. Let me print. So if I write s out, and here I will write a dot a, just I will print a, what is I am getting. So if I print just a, what will happen? What will happen? I just printed the a. So a, if I call it, so it's printing the 10, 20 and 30. It's look like a array. So array list is nothing but internally it's a array only, but only having a different size is the growable in the natures. You don't want to give the fixed size. If I want to add some more data also, I can add it. I can add it, and like 40, and if I give the semicolon, the data will be inserted inside this, and I can run once again, it will print it here. Okay, how it's printing here? So internally through the a, so array list having a two-string methods. So internally it's calling dot toString, and it's printing the data as a string. Let me show you so you can see same thing. But even if you not give this one, by default it will put the toString, and it will print all those data. For example, if you created any class and you are trying to print it, if you not given the toString method, it will print the hash code of those objects. So every object having a hash code, we can explain those also. So this is the things we have done as of now. Okay, so array list is capable, it means that collection is capable to store the homogeneous type of the data. Let's talk about the heterogeneous. For example, I want to add one more data, and those data is nothing but Java, and it's a string type, and I want to add. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. It's not possible. Let me add first. So I have to write a dot add, and here I have to give the Java. Okay, let me remove this line. Okay, and let me print. Yes, we are able to add it. How? Because it means is our array list is a heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means you can store any kind of data inside this. No issue in that. So we are storing the integer, we have stored the string, we have stored the double, we have stored some other value also. We can store the character also. Let me store the boolean first. Add true. So that you can say we have added the heterogeneous data inside this array list. Okay. So this is the things we are able to store the heterogeneous data, we are able to store the homogeneous data, we are able to store the duplicate data. Let me show you. We are able to store the unique data, but let me add some unique data, duplicate data. So I have already stored 10. Let me store one more time 10s. Okay, and let me run. Okay, so if you see here, I am able to store the 10. So that means our whatever the definition I have given, like collection is a collection of heterogeneous, homogeneous and unique type of the object. Okay, so that is clear, I hope. Okay, so this is the collections. Okay, and we are able to store any type of the data inside this. Why we are able to store the data inside this, any type of the data? Why? Because internally it's maintain one type casting or the type safe, you can say. Okay, type safe, you can say. So whatever the array list you have created, it's internally created like that. Object. So what will happen is, if you created the object, this one is capable to store, because object is a parent class of all those classes. So this object is capable to store the data of any type. That is the power of object. And because of the object type safe, we are able to store any kind of the data inside this array list. Okay. What is this one? Why this one? This one is nothing but it's ensure that, hey, we can store here this type of the data inside this array list. So this is showing, if you write here integers, and one more things, if you write here int, it will not work, because in the collections we are doing work with object only. We can't do work with the predefined data type. Okay, so we have to write here integer, okay, which is wrapper classes. If you write something like primitive data types, that will not work. Okay, so if you see here, once I given the type is called integer, we are getting error to add a Java, we are getting error to add a double, we are getting error to add a true, because this is the different type of the data, but this data will not support the integer. So because of that we are getting the error. So what we have to do, we have to store those data in the object only. So if you see, like we have a combinations of the data, and maybe it's a integer, float, double, character, boolean, so many types of the data, then we can go with the object only, and that is the good practice. Okay, we can discuss more about it in the next video. Thank you so much.